Hello and welcome back to Pulse of the Nation. Joining us down the line, the legendary, the iconic Anna Richardson. Hello.
Oh, hello. This is wonderful, you guys. I love being told that I'm legendary and iconic. I'll take that. Hello, how are you both?
Well, it's fully deserved. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you, Jane?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, we're having a lovely afternoon in our air-conditioned studio. And perhaps maybe air conditioning might play a role in the job that you do. Obviously, you're a fantastic presenter, a sex and relationship expert, but perhaps best known as the host of Naked Attraction.
Absolutely, and long may that last. And let me tell you that, yeah, you're absolutely right that air conditioning plays a huge role on that show. The girls insist on having it ice cold. The boys get terribly upset and then insist on having it really, really warm. I won't go into the reasons why.
I think we can all fill in the blanks there. Yeah. Interesting. And how do you sort of go to the whims of the contestant, or is there a balancing act to do?
There's just a constant fight over the air conditioning switch. So, the girls are always reaching for it, trying to get it sort of ice cold, and the boys then going, oh, it's too cold, or can we turn it up a bit? So, I mean, half the time when we're filming, it is just this sort of go-between of we've got to try and get the temperature right in the studio. So it's a miracle we get anything done at all.
Oh, I'm reading the Wikipedia page for Naked Attraction, and they claim that a record can take up to 12 hours. Is that true?
A record can take no. So, well, yeah, I mean, a full filming day can take anywhere between 12 and 14 hours. That is true. But within that day, we're doing at least 3 different rounds or 3 different shows.
Gotcha.
So you make, because it's so expensive to make television, as you guys know, broadcasting is expensive. So once you've got your studio, you've got to make full use of it. So yeah, we are back to back. It can take 12 to 14 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but no individual person is sat there for 12 hours in the nuddy.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not that cruel yet.
We will come back to Naked Attraction, and indeed, hopefully, long may it continue. We might ask about that later. But for now, we've got some very interesting results of a survey. 2,000 single travellers have been surveyed because more and more Brits are looking abroad for their love life, for dating.
Yeah, I think this is really interesting, actually, that this survey. So it's from ID Mobile. And as you say, they have done a survey of 2,000 British singletons. And they have discovered that more people than ever before are starting to look for love abroad. And they are smoothing Cupid's arrow by basically giving them inclusive data roaming to 50 different countries so that you don't get this horrible bill shock when you get back home, which we've all been subject to. But I think the bottom line of this survey is the fact that people are voting with their feet when it comes to finding romance, and that they're starting to look worldwide. Yeah,
well, apparently 10% said a holiday romance was a priority in their travel, and almost 40% said it's great for short-term fun at the very least. Have you ever had a holiday romance, Jane?
I haven't. Would love one.
Yeah.
Jane, come on. It's time to get on the apps. You can pick your top destination. I've got them right here. Apparently the top love destinations. We are talking Italy, France, Spain, all the places in Europe. Come on, Jane. They would welcome you. Just download a dating app. You can get your maps on the go, then a language app. You're set. You're sorted.
Great. I'll get on that this afternoon. Let's get there.
I should have checked in advance. Are you in a relationship?
I am. I'm actually married.
You're married?
Oh, in that case, scrap all of the above. Scrap all of it. You do not need to go data roaming around Europe.
But there was something interesting about data roaming that you picked out, Jane, in this feedback. That 1 in 10 people ghosted someone abroad because of roaming charges.
Yes. What do you think that says about modern dating, Anna?
What that people? Well, I think that what it says about modern dating is that more and more people are being hit by massive mobile phone bills when they get back home. So yeah, the data shows that people are being put off dating when they do get on their holidays because of the roaming charges, which again is why ID Mobile are offering this great deal for their customers. But I think that it also speaks to the fact that more and more people are using technology when it comes to relationships. So you've got to make sure that you're on the appropriate plan. But it just goes to show that we are reliant, I mean, again, on maps, for example, on language applications, on dating apps as well. So we're starting to bring it more and more into our life, even though there is something around the fact that when you do meet up with somebody face to face, we're losing the art of conversation. So I think that the technology is starting to catch up a little bit in terms of encouraging people to have authentic meetups and more authentic connections, rather than what we do in the UK, which is swipe and then ghost.
Swipe and ghost, it's the
swipe
classic.
and ghost. Does that make sense? There's something wonderful about people going on holiday and then using apps and technology to have a more authentic feel and experience of the city that they're in, the language that they're encountering, the culture that they're encountering.
You're using it as a tool and a resource rather than sort of something a bit disposable. And you don't have to tell me about. I've been ghosted more times than Ebenezer Scrooge, Anna. I'm very familiar with the practice.
No, I mean, I think it's. Do you know what? I think it's shocking, and I do think that it's just people who are just. It's such a cowardly thing to do, rather than just saying. Being adult about it and saying, do you know what, I had a lovely time, or I'm just not. I just think that maybe we're mates, whatever. I think the swipe and ghost is pretty poor.
Yeah, it's not good. It's interesting. So you presented the sex education show, first back in 2008. So like you've obviously been in this realm for a long time. How has it shifted over the last almost 20 years now? That what's your position on that shift over the last?
Well, I mean, certainly throughout my life and my career, I've seen a huge shift. So back in the day when I was in my 20s, this is pre-internet and pre-mobile phone. So you had to date the old-fashioned way, which was either, asking your mates or going to the local pub or meeting somebody at work. Moving on to the sex education show, again, we had mobile phones. Yeah, we did have the internet. We were starting to see maybe the very beginning, sort of burgeoning apps, dating apps coming through. But now we have an absolute plethora of dating apps. And of course, we've seen the birth of social media, which we didn't have back in 2008 when I was doing the sex education show. So I think that now we are more digitally enabled. We have influencers left, right, and centre. We live our lives on screens. We are very, very open, aren't we, with our lives? Nothing is hidden anymore. And I think that what comes with that is a fear of real, genuine connection, that when you actually sit down with a stranger face to face, I think a lot of people don't actually know how to connect. And again, I think post-COVID, we're seeing more and more of this. So ironically, despite the plethora of data and technology, people are becoming, in a sense, more insular and unable to find an authentic connection. I don't know if that's your experience as well, or whether you've seen that.
Yeah, it definitely is. In Jane's brilliant stand-up show, you talk about incels and stuff, and obviously there's been a rise in that sort of culture. I've been in a relationship for just coming up to 3 years now, but I was, on the apps and going dating post-COVID, and so transactional, especially I'm a gay man, so there's an extra cultural layer of hookup culture, and it was all very transactional. Definitely, I mean, you barely even know people's names sometimes when you meet up with them.
Yeah, I think that's really worrying, isn't it? And you've hit the nail on the head actually with the word transactional. That this just becomes right. This is what I'm after. Are you ticking that box? And if you're not, then ghosted. Yeah. And I think that's feeding into everybody's self-confidence and self-esteem. So again, just going back to this interesting survey and the data that ID Mobile have managed to collect. It makes sense to me that people are now starting to leave our shores and say, I'm going to start looking elsewhere because I want authenticity. I feel more myself if I'm in a foreign city or town. I'm able to hook up with a local who can give me a cultural experience. I can use my language skills and I can maybe start again in a more meaningful way. That
makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you're in a long-term relationship, Jane, but do you have that feeling when you go to a new country, you're like, I can reinvent myself. I'm a new person. I'm a holiday person. Do you relate to that?
Yes, definitely. Love to be the main character.
Yeah, exactly. You're the sort of blinking American tourist stepping into the London lights. Like, I'm going to make my whole new life in Britain. That makes a lot of sense. Now, we'll close out with some Naked Attraction questions because I think it's absolutely burning a hole in my my pocket. I don't know if that makes sense as an analogy, but we'll come back to Naked Attraction. But with this ID Mobile data, obviously, go get an ID Mobile plan, use all the apps, get your translation services. but then you're there face to face with somebody. What are your top tips, Anna, for forging a real connection?
Do you know, I think so. One thing I would do before you go on your date is something called the Circle of Excellence. And this is a sort of hypnotherapeutic tool which can be really helpful in terms of visualizing success. So, what I say to people is stand, close your eyes before you're about to go out, close your eyes and imagine a time when you have been really happy and really successful. So, imagine a scene where everything has been going great for you. And then once that person has imagined that, I ask them to almost throw, like a sort of Spider-Man, a sort of spider's web on the floor, a circle on the floor in front of them, which is called the Circle of Excellence, and place that visualization inside the Circle of Excellence, that scene that you've had in your life where things have just been so brilliant for you. And then step inside the Circle of Excellence and feel all of the feelings, see the scene again, imagine the colours brighter, all the sounds louder, and just let it wash over you. So you're imbibed in this idea of being successful. So you carry that with you, go on your date feeling more confident. And what I do say to people is that actually flirting and dating is about confidence at the end of the day. It's not just about chemistry. So you may well fancy that person, but there is nothing sexier than somebody who is comfortable in their own skin and who feels confident about what they're doing. And the fail-safe with all of these things is to show curiosity. The art of conversation is to be curious about the other person. So those would be my sort of my SOS basic dating tips.
That's great. I think that's such universally useful advice for everybody. And I definitely agree with that confidence thing. Like when me and my partner met, we were both in very confident phases of our life. And, you know, as such as life, you know, you go ebb and flow. And there's been times it's like, Christ, if we met each other now, I don't think we'd even be able to say hello to each other. But yeah, we just luckily struck at that moment where we were really feeling ourselves. So yeah, if you can do anything to engineer that, that's really good advice. Thank you.
And that's and just to jump in, Andrew. Sorry to
please.
To interrupt you, but yeah, when I was with a guy for nearly 20 years, and when I first met him, I literally was like, you must be kidding me. He looked like Russ Abbott. You know, I was just a bit, for all those Gen Zs listening, he was a sort of very peculiar looking comic back in the 80s. But I was like, you know, just this guy, no. And then when I got to know him and I went on a few dates with him, absolutely hilarious. One of the most confident people I've ever met. A brilliant person to hang out with. A great raconteur. We were together for nearly 18 years.
Wow. Yeah. That's there goes to show. You just get to know somebody, be curious about someone, and yeah, you'll find there's a lot more than the surface level. Yeah. Exactly
that. So be curious, be open.
Be curious, be open, download a language app, enjoy some free data roaming from ID Mobile, and go on, why not have a sort of a European fling? Why not? Have a summer romance. Now, I have to end with some Naked Attraction questions, because obviously it's a phenom. It is one of the sort of top, most talked about shows on TV. Have you've seen a lot of Naked Attraction, Jane?
Oh, absolutely love it.
It's
love it.
would you ever be tempted by something like that, or is that just too like strange environment?
No, I think I would give it a go.
Yeah.
I think it's such a unique experience. Like I've never seen anything like it. So
well, that's interesting, because I was going to ask you, Anna, was what kind of people are drawn to this? Is it literally like all walks of life, everybody, or is there a particular sort of personality that always crops up?
Do you mean in terms of contestants or people who watch it?
Contestants, sorry, yeah. Who
right. So people, you can sort of put them into categories. So you get the influencers who basically just want to build up their following online. You know, maybe they've got some kind of business going or whatever, but they just want to build up their following. Then you get the sort of, you know, Jack the lads who are on it because they think it's a real laugh and that they might get a hookup later in the evening. Yeah. So they're just on it to sort of boast to their mates back in the pub. But then you get people who genuinely are on there because they have an important point to prove. It might be that they've got a hidden disability. So they are saying, if I had my clothes on, at what point on a date would I say to somebody, I have a stoma, or I have one leg, or, you know, whatever it happens to be. We also have had lots of trans people on the show who are in the middle of their trans journey, who are saying, you know, I'm a trans man or a woman. And so again, this is what I look like with no clothes on. I deserve to be loved as much as anybody else.
Yeah.
So we get those people who are genuine about their journey as well. So they sort of do come in a sort of mixed bag of categories. Yeah, and we welcome that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Especially, you know, at the moment there's lots of sort of fraught tension around trans issues. So that's so interesting and vital that comes up, that trans people have a space to be represented and be themselves on a national stage like that. That's so cool. Yeah, what an amazing impact you can have with the show. Yeah, probably people think it's a silly little joke, but yeah, actually it's actually very impactful.
It genuinely I mean, I know that you know, we laugh a lot about Naked Attraction. We think of it sort of fondly because it is a good laugh, but actually underneath it there is a really important message. It is about acceptance at the end of the day, and that is why we welcome, in particular, our trans brothers and sisters. We welcome people with disability, and we also welcome people, you know, couples and people that are exploring polyamory as well. It's kind of like all of human life is here and no one's there to judge.
There we go. It sounds like I mean, I loved it anyway, and not just for sort of like ironic reasons. I really truly loved it, and yeah, the more we sort of delved into it, it's like, yeah, this is actually maybe one of the most vital pieces of television out there at the moment. Well, I say at the moment. Here's the big question, Anna, and we'll end with this. Maybe we can sort of tease an exclusive. Is there a new series in the pipeline? Is there something more coming from Naked Attraction?
Do you know, I wish I could give you a definitive answer on this. I am ever hopeful, fingers crossed, that it will come back. I would love to see it coming back with maybe a twist on the format, perhaps a little bit of a change. But I don't know is the honest answer at the moment. I just don't know. So let's all collectively put our fingers together, fingers crossed, that Channel 4 will bring the mighty Naked Attraction back for a new series. Please,
Channel 4. We want it. We're desperate for it. Thank you so much for joining me, Anna. And yeah, it's been lovely to talk to you.
Thank you both. Have a lovely, lovely afternoon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate it.